I was tethered to a sinking ship of misery that if I didn't if I didn't figure out a way to jump off this ship, I was going to go down with it.
Welcome to your Journey to Joy podcast. I'm your host, Moyra Gorski, and I'm on a mission to help you find joy in the chaos of life. As a retired nurse, multi-passionate entrepreneur, and mom of 4 adult children, I know what it's like to feel the overwhelm of it all and wonder if and when the joy will show up again. And I've learned it's up to us to go find that joy. On this show, you will hear inspiring stories from those who have overcome all kinds of life challenges, tips on how to stay healthy and vibrant during the ups and downs of life, and simple ways on finding joy in your own life. Let's face it, life is messy, yet when we travel together on this journey, support and encourage each other along the way, that joy starts to show up again. I'm so excited to lead you on this journey of you to find the joyful life that you deserve. Well, welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Moyra Gorski. We're all about joy here. We're all about the journey because joy doesn't always just show up on our front step. We learned that we have to get through a journey, and sometimes that journey of life is a little rough, and it's maybe looks different than we expected it to. Maybe we need to change. Maybe we need to shift. My guest today, I'm just thrilled that she's here with me today, and I can't wait to hear what she has to share because I know you're going to love it. Lumen, she has dedicated a lot of her life to just helping other people break free from silently living, an unhappy, a dissatisfied life. And she has a pretty unique journey that you're going to hear about. And that's really what fuels her passion. And that's what I love, because if you've listened to my podcast long enough, that's who I interview, is those people that have gone through this journey, their journey of life, and something has really caused them to, examine their life a little bit more and make some changes. And they've become really passionate about that and the changes that they've made. And they're passionate enough to help other people. So that's what Jay does as well. So I can't wait for you to hear from her. Jay, thank you for coming on my show and talking with my audience today and with me.
Oh, thank you, Moyra. I'm excited to be here and have this conversation and this journey with you.
Yeah, thank you. So let's start as we always start. Let's start with your story. Like, again, you've got a story about an attempt on your life, and I'm sure there's other things in there too. So let's start there of kind of that story that got you to realize that perhaps you weren't so happy, you needed to make a shift, those type of things.
Sure. So I had been in a long-term relationship and also at a job that I just really hated. And basically, the relationship had run its course, but I still felt responsible for this person, for him. And the job I hated, I felt like I was in this trap because I was financially responsible for us at this point. And so I couldn't leave. I didn't feel like I could quit the job because I was the only paycheck. I didn't feel like I could put him on the street because, he was somebody that I had cared about for a number of years. And so I felt like I was stuck. I was tethered to a sinking ship of misery that if I didn't if I didn't figure out a way to jump off this ship, I was going to go down with it. And I was miserable and I didn't want to live my life like that. But I didn't know how to even get started on how to figure out my way out of this. All I saw were obstacles in my way. And when all you can see are obstacles, it's really hard to see the other side of that obstacle and to see that, okay, well, if I do this or do that, just kind of shift my perspective a little bit here, maybe a solution will open up or whatever. But when you're stuck, it's so hard to make any action. You just kind of want to sit there and it's like, okay, well, maybe this is just part of being an adult and I just have to suck it up and tolerate it. Mm-hmm. I completely understand, but not the case.
Well, and everybody's not always sitting there talking about all the good things. There's a lot of people that complain and they sit in that spot, sit in their shit, sit in their, spot, and so they're complaining. And so complainers love to have other complainers. So it's sometimes hard to see a way out because nobody's talking about the way out. Right.
Right. And this isn't something that we normally talk about. It's not like you just talk to your friends and be like, okay, so how do I make change? Like When you get stuck, like to me, that means you get stuck in a snowbank, in a ditch, you call somebody, you know who to call to come get you out, or maybe even some random stranger will come yank you out if they have the right equipment. But when you get stuck in your life, like that's not a thing that we were taught that happens when you were growing up as a kid. It's not something that's openly discussed until you go looking for it. Well, you're not going to go looking for something that you don't know exists necessarily. So you do, and you culminate with your friends and you vent and you're like, okay, but yeah, this is my life and here I am, and this is just going to be how it is. And it's not so bad that it makes there's no urgency to shift. You just know you're unhappy and you don't want it. So you kind of sit in that until something does happen. And I came up with an acronym called SHIT. So here is the truth. And when enough truth happens, then the shit will hit the fan and you will shift. And
I like that.
There's a way, what I've learned now is a way to shift before the shit hits the fan. If you're miserable, don't wait until that happens. So eventually he did something where I was like, okay, I got to get out of this right away. And because I didn't trust him anymore. And I'm like, all right, well, I got to figure this out. And so I was forced to shift. And I realized, I have a paycheck. I'll pay for him to go move away and go live with his family. That resolves me, it absolved my guilt from putting him on the street. So I solved that part of it. But then I was like, I just signed this whole new lease, and now I have financial responsibility. So if I quit the job, what happens if I don't make enough money? I'll just suck it up and tolerate it until the lease runs out. Because at least then I knew the light at the end of the tunnel. I was like, all right, well, I just have to survive till, this point in time. Unfortunately, and this person didn't have a history of violence. So unfortunately, 2 months later, he showed up at my door and knocked on the door. And the night ended with his arrest for attempted murder of me.
Yeah. Wow.
Which obviously I survived, but that was the real shit hitting the fan. Like, okay, I almost died, and unexpectedly. And that's what happens in life. I know you said you've had some health issues yourself. Probably came out of the middle of nowhere.
That's right.
Smack you right in the face. Oh, here's the truth. Here's that shit. Oh, okay. Life is short, cliche, but true. So I learned very quickly that all of the obstacles I thought were holding me back, all of the consequences that I thought was going to happen because if I quit the job or did whatever, like everything I was trying to avoid by staying where I was happened anyway. I couldn't stay in the apartment. I wasn't safe there. Like he went to prison, yes, but I didn't mentally and emotionally feel safe in that space. So I had to leave. Now I had 2 leases to pay for. Like so when you're trying to control so much, sometimes you can't.
Right. And the book, I don't know if you've heard the book or my listeners have heard the book, but the obstacle is the way. I mean, many times our obstacles are the way through. We can't go, we can't go around. We have to go through. We have to go through our obstacles. We have to go through our challenges. We can't just say, okay, magically they disappeared. We have to go through them and learn how to get through them. And that's the way forward. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is that when the shit does hit the fan, it will force you to go through that obstacle. There's no, okay, I'm not ready. I don't think I can do it. You just do it. It's like if you are a parent and something happens with your kid or, something happens on your way to work, if your animals, whatever, when something pops up spontaneously in life, you're like, you don't even think about it. You just quickly solve the issue and you keep on going. You don't stop to think, oh, this is a problem that I can't solve. This is, I don't know what to do. you don't have any other choice but to solve it and keep going because you have things to do, or because you're responsible for your kid or your pet, or being to your job, whatever the case may be.
Well, and
You just
that's
have
what
to
I think was interesting about both of our journey. I mean, you were faced with your own death by someone, and I was faced with cancer, and which can cause death. And so I made the shifts, and people were like, "Wow, you quit drinking, or you're now eating plant-based. You're not eating any meat. You know, that all these things have come up. Like, really, you're doing that?" And it's like, yeah, it's this interesting thing that happens when you're forced, right? Or that comes and it hits the fan. And that's what I get frustrated with. But I also try to share with my clients and my friends, like, let's not wait till that diagnosis. Let's not wait till that person shows up at the door. Let's not wait till the accident. Let's not wait till the diagnosis. And but it's an interesting thing because you and I, like, we made the changes, right? But when we encourage and coach these people to make the changes, they're like, "Oh, but I can't do that." I'm like, well, okay, well, if you get to where I was, I bet you would. So let's try to, what you've done and what I'm doing is trying to help them, encourage them to, let's make the changes today. Now, they're not easy, right? But it's like one step at a time. And it's shifting your perspective on life, really, on the way that lens that we look at our life that we have. And I'm curious about your unknown bucket list. Is that something that you created too? I'm curious about that. So I'd love for you to share that, what that's all about.
It is. And it ties right in with shifting your perspective, because, most of us are familiar with the term bucket list, the things you're supposed to do before you die. You check them off, you go here, you go there, you do this, you do that, you taste, you experience the experience of life. And for some people, they have this bucket list. And for most of us, really, it's never going to happen, because we're never going to see it come to fruition, because we either don't have enough time, we don't have enough money, we don't think we have enough time, we don't think we have enough money, but also because we're comparing ourselves to what other people define as a bucket list. Like, this is what you're supposed to do in life. And we're comparing ourselves to their experience of life. And the unknown bucket list, how I came up with it is that after survival, and I had to completely change my life, which is a whole other long story. But I was at work one day, completely changed my career. And I was at work one day, and I was told I was working on a TV show, actually. And the producer said, "I need you to go and staple this $5 bill to this guy's butt." It was a reality show about, like, sword swallowers and fire eaters, and this particular guest, he let people staple bills to his body parts, and the denomination of the bill determined the body part. And we weren't having audience participation. I wonder why.
Yeah, right.
So I could have said no, but I took the $5. I went up, I stapled the money to the guy's butt cheek. And at the end of the day, I said, well, I guess I'll check that off my unknown bucket list. And our unknown bucket list is really what defines our lives. It's all the little moments that happen throughout the day that were unexpected or random, or when we try something new for the very first time. We can't, that changes our lives, when we find so much joy in something that until we did it, we didn't know that would be something we would enjoy so much. And it's not something we ever would have put on a bucket list of, like, oh, I've got to go do that, because we had no idea that we would have so much joy from that, whatever it was. And now that we've experienced it, whatever opportunity happened to allow you to experience that moment, then those are the things. It's the random, unexpected, unplanned experiences that happen every day through life. And it's all these little mini moments, and you can really supersize your life from it. And a lot of that is also overlooking things that we don't give ourselves credit for. I'm sure there's things in your life that you haven't given yourself credit for. There's things in my life that I used to not give myself credit for. but you can use all of those and leverage confidence to overcome any obstacle.
Love that.
And it's literally just a shift in it's a shift in thinking, and it doesn't happen. It's not this big, huge, massive, overhaul that happens overnight. It's exactly what you said. It's little, tiny little steps.
Brought to you by Gorski Wellness and the possibility of a better you. Are you feeling sluggish? Ready for a change? Need more energy? Up for a bigger challenge? I'm Moyra Gorski, retired nurse and wellness advocate. For over 22 years, I've been helping people live healthier lives while making small changes each and every day. Those small changes lead my clients to living a healthier lifestyle with markedly better health. As a brand ambassador for the Shaklee Corporation, the most clinically proven wellness company in the world, I guide my clients to make healthier choices each day with their food, supplements, skincare, workouts, and mindset. They say getting started is half the battle. Let's make healthy happen together. If you're ready for simple, natural, sustainable solutions to feeling and looking your best, let's connect. You'll find a link in the show notes or reach out to me at moyragorski.com. Here's to a better you. Yeah, and again, for those that have listened, I broke my foot right before Thanksgiving, and then I had car trouble, and then I had plumbing issues, and all of these things kept happening. All the shit was hitting the fan, literally. But what I said on a podcast a couple of episodes ago is that those were all signs from the higher power and the God that I believe in to tell me to slow down, because my father, who had been sick and was declining in health, he chose hospice at the beginning of December. And so the message was, and the sign was, slow down, because your dad's going to die and you need to be with him. And that's going to be, and this crap that happened was my gift. I was able to go and be with my father every day until he passed. And, what I said in an episode is I was honoring my father, and it's like we get so busy, and I think we pay attention to some of these other things, like you said, like somebody else's idea of what our bucket list, or somebody else's idea of what we should be doing in our life, or all of that kind of stuff. And we pay attention to that instead of these signs that maybe are a little unexpected, or they're a little annoying, or things like that. And if we paid attention to those, that's where the gifts come, right? And that's where these things, these unexpected things. And I knew my father, he was 92. I knew he wasn't going to make it till his next birthday, which would have been next November. But I didn't know he was going to be gone by December 22nd, And so I'm so grateful that those things happened, those crappy things that happened, because it did slow me down. I couldn't dance. One of my hobbies is ballroom dance. So I couldn't go to dance lessons. I couldn't go to my dance classes. Okay, I'm going to be with my dad. And so yes. I think that's kind of what because again, it was very sad through all of that, but I've come to know that was an unexpected things that happened. But here I was, I have that memory of 2 weeks with my dad as he was declining, and all of that. And I love that, that all of a sudden we experience things and we're like, wow, that was really nice. And you didn't expect it to be that way, right? Or
right. And it's the unknown bucket list covers good and bad. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes people just need a place to put something. Mm-hmm. Like, especially if it's a loss of something, and they don't feel like they can set that weight down, and that they feel like they have to carry it with them at always. It gives them a place to put it. And because they're surviving. Like how I explain it is that a widower would never want to become a widower, but you have survived it. You can't change it. Right. And this is your life. And when you pick yourself back up and you continue to live again, because your partner wouldn't want you to just give up, mm-hmm. then yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's not something that you would have wanted to happen. But you can put it on your unknown bucket list and be like, I did that. I'm doing that. I can do hard things. Mm-hmm. And this whatever little bobble in the day, or the next time something hard and difficult comes up, you can be like, I've proven to myself I could do hard things. So I'm going to leverage confidence from having done that. And I'm going to use it to know I can get through this or I can overcome this. So it's for good and bad, but it is all encompassing of, at the end of the day, this is your life. And you have all these unique experiences and these very unique stories that are specifically yours, not anybody else's.
Right. Well, and like you said, with your acronym, so here is the truth. I mean, I did studied mindfulness-based stress reduction, and it talks about that awareness. It's an awareness piece. Here's the truth, right? Here's the truth. Let's be aware of what the truth is or the reality. Like, we don't always like that.
Right.
But it's then if we can take the time to see the truth, hear the truth, realize and be aware, then that's where we can make the choices. How am I going to overcome it? How am I going to step forward? How am I going to get through this? Okay, well, I'm going to go forward, or I'm going to do this, or whatever. We're making that choice when we slow down enough to look at the truth, to be aware of that. And then I think that's where the magic can happen. I mean, we can sit there, right? We can sit in our own shit. I love that. We can,
or you can flip a switch and you can shift.
Right. We can flip it and then we can shift to something else. And I just love it. I just love what you're doing and helping other people see and be aware of. And so as we wrap up our time together, tell people where they can find you. And if there's anything that you have, to share with them kind of as last minute nuggets.
Sure. So everything social media wise, the Unknown Bucket List, but I do have, it's kind of a play on words. So resume your life or resumeyourlife.com. That is where people can go and they can download the self-assessment that I've made to help people get started on their Unknown Bucket List. So they can start to see, especially if they're stuck and they don't in a situation and they don't even know what they want or how to get started or what fuels their passion. And so it helps them to start reflect of like, oh, well, I did all of these things, or here's all these things that I've done. And I didn't give myself credit for that. And it's just a way of starting to shift people's way of thinking, because it is, it's little things, but that's free. They can do that. And it's just by listening to what you and I have shared, maybe when they wake up in the morning, they can view their day just a little differently and just begin to start to shift their perspective on how they're viewing everything. And with practice, it just gets bigger. And before you know it, you're going to be living the life that you really want. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it'll all be in the show notes. And if you missed that, but I'll put it in the show notes. But thank you so much, Jay, for being with me today. It's just been a pleasure. And I'm just so glad that you have decided to flip the switch and live a different life, and that you're, helping other people do that. So thanks for being with me today.
And thanks, Moira, for having me. I've really enjoyed our conversation today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And as always, as I say at the end, just know that this life that we have is not, we can choose joy. We can look at the reality, we can look at the truth, and we can make the choices to choose joy today. And that's what I encourage you to do. And please share these episodes and, rate and review and all those good things so that more people can hear these stories of hope and joy and inspiration. So thanks, everybody, and we'll catch you next time. Hey there, ready to live a more joyful life? Considering connecting with someone who can help you? If so, I'd like to be that person. I offer a free consultation where we determine where the chaos is in your life and how you can learn to bring more joy each and every day. Visit my website, moyragorski.com, or simply email me, moyra@moyragorski.com, with more joy in the subject line. I look forward to connecting, and I'm here to say there will always be some chaos, which requires a little juggling, but you can find joy and live your life intentionally filled with that joy. Let me help you on your journey to joy. And that's joy, the journey of you.